Hello, colleagues. Good morning. My name is Andres Santiago Galarza Hurtado. It's first time that yours see me in class or in video. Okay. My, my research, my research is about military technology artillery. Mm, the term is uh, military technology. For example, technology, robots, drones, cybersecurity, technology in cybersecurity, technology in robots, cyborgs, technology in implants, microchips in the humans for generate most forces in the combat. Uh, uh, También talk, talking or going to talking about uh, the DARPA projects. DARPA projects. The DARPA projects, the most relevant technology of military forces in North America, in Russia, in Israel, and China. Bueno, for examples, robots walk, robots that walk, robots fight, robots quadruples, bipeds walking in bipeds, and quadruples. In fact, aircraft robots, aircraft robots that in unmanned tripulation. It is controlled in in the military bunker or in the military fields, and the aircraft robots fly in the airs with camera in implements of artillery military. The robots, the DARPA technology with robots talking, walking, or walk, robots walks, robots talks, robots fight, unmanned, robots unmanned, that that go to war. Mm. It is robots is it is robots important for military forces uh, because it helped the soldiers in fact prevent uh, prevent that death in combat with it is robots DARPA technology and security, cybersecurity, mm, letters over letters over sentence because we are engineering informatics.
Modern unmanned vehicles date back to a series of robotic races, which DARPA sponsored in the early 2000s to stimulate the development of this technology. And in 2004, out of all the applicants for the prize of $1 million, only one managed to pass a modest 12 kilometers of the planned 240-kilometer race. Later in 2005, the entire distance was able to be covered by 5 cars at once. In 2007, DARPA held another race, but this time with a prize of $2 million. The self-driving cars had to drive through the city, observing rules of the road, and interacting with each other at intersections. It was DARPA that sponsored the development of the first 4 Boston Dynamics Big Dog robots, presented in 2005. The robot, measuring 91 by 76 centimeters and weighing 110 kilograms, was able to move at speeds of 6.5 kilometers per hour and carry a load of 150 kilograms, as well as climbing a mountain with a slope at a 35-degree angle. The project cost DARPA $42 million, but was eventually closed because the robot was incredibly noisy. Nevertheless, Big Dog became the basis for the creation of both the Robot Spot and the Atlas robot. By the way, the robot was not the last development of Boston Dynamics for DARPA. All of the robots of the company, including those created for military purposes, we showed previously in a video. A link to that is now in the card above. Very unusual developments were and are among the agency's projects.
We define what is a military robot, or military robots in English, as an intelligent machine that can be autonomous or remotely controlled, designed to serve in the army. They are intended to carry out missions that can be reconnaissance, surveillance, rescue operations, and transport of material, and to participate in combat. The main objects of combat robots is to avoid building soldiers, living and risk real wars. It is a challenge in which powers such as Russia and the United States have been developed military robotic technologies for almost a century, although we must not forget current ones such as China, Japan, South Korea, and Israel. Thank to this, in 2019, there are different state autonomous war robots that have become a reality, but there are even more robots that are in the process of development, and that will be the modern soldiers of the world robots war of the future. If you like military mobile robots, also called killer robots, have an interest in military technology and want to see images and GIFs of the most advanced robotics combat vehicles, you are on your special website. Characteristic and type of military robots for war. The mobile military combat robots incorporate the state-art of technology. For example, we can classify them by their degree of autonomy. Fully autonomy robots, robots manning beat soldiers, robots remotely controlled by remote control. In the same way that could classify them by their functionality: combat robots, surveillance and reconnaissance robots, transport and rescue robots, anti-explosives.
Fly and lift objects and perform terrain analysis. And these will not be the only bio-inspired robots from DARPA. Recently, the agency announced that next year it will present a completely finished robot worm, which will be able to tunnel at speeds of 10 centimeters per second. For the Project Underminer project, $2.5 million has already been allocated. The tunnels will be needed to quickly create tactical paths when fighting in cities and megacities. One of the important projects of DARPA was the Systems-Based Neurotechnology for Emerging Therapies program, designed to create implantation, diagnostic, and therapeutic closed-cycle systems for the treatment of psychoneurological diseases. Essentially, the program wants to create a brain implant that will help soldiers fight post-traumatic stress disorder and other problems. Interestingly enough, when DARPA began working on the neurointerfaces, it said it would create a chip that would allow the military to control combat robots and drones with only the power of thought. One way or another, the work on the brain chip continues. Another key area of DARPA's project is the creation of robotic pilots and artificial intelligence capable of controlling aircrafts and helicopters, including combat ones. Thus, at the end of the year, the final test of the Alias technology on Sikorsky UH-60M Black Hawk helicopters are able to be held.
The robot example, Uran Knight, the best combat robot, considered the best combat robot for all characteristics it has. It is tank-like robot design by the legendary Calais Miko company makers aka the best-selling assault fossil in history. Haidar, one robot made in Iran. Iran created assault in the reconnaissance robot that also adapted to carry heavy loads. In the Iranian military robots in the 646 of radar that's capable of turning. Dragon Runner, XRP transporter robot and military mobile robots. Dragon Runner, this DT robot that had been designed by Marine Corps war fighting lab in Carnegie Mellon University, performs reconnaissance work specialty in urban warfare. The Dragon Runner. Foster Million Talon. It is remote-controlled military robot that has been designed by the United States patent company for Miller Intel, been creating carry-on reconnaissance tanks with combat mission, forced military robots and talons for anti-mine explosives and bombs. It is reconnaissance robot TAT. Ground robots, reconnaissance and espionage. Military robots create projects that until recently we could only imagine in science fiction movies. Examples of military aerial robots, drones. Where are the best robots being used in combat and intelligence mission? RQ for Global Hawk. In June, it is famous drone that belonged the United States Army, which was used espionage work until it has finally withdrawn. It is an unarmed reconnaissance vehicle capable autonomous flight. It also identified B-9 Hawk and its manufacturer that it is capable taking off and landing vertical as if the air helicopter. In the United States, much of the military development is directed by Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency DARPA, which apart from combat robots develops exoskeletons for soldiers. However, there are other world powers that, because they are under a state of emergency, their borders and investing huge amounts of money in robotics and military intelligence, such as South Korea and Israel. Military robots have been in since before World War II. On Recursos one Soviet select tank created around in 1930. It was an unmanned tank that was radio controlled from another tank that was at distance that could not exceed 1,000 meters. Another remote controller robots. What's Goliath? Vehicle. What's Goliath? Vehicles important for the militaries. Currently, we have Case Lead Fedor was already identified as killer robots because of his precision when shooting with both hands at some time. The future, it is our hands. Science, it only depends on who creates laws with ways to grant greater or lesser degree capacities of these robots. For lovers on online action, remember that in 2090 a military strategy gained control by bots went viral on Twitter. The game was called World War Boots. And as an anecdote, we remember that finally the one who took control of the planet was Spain.